You may not know this, but I'm a gambling man. I like taking chances, living life on the edge, rolling the dice. So I'm going to try and get my fix with this beautiful deck right here. Every single card in this deck either flips a coin or forces our opponents to flip a coin. We are taking the most controversial part of TCG Pocket and cranking it up to 11. But you might be asking yourself, Kali, why? Just why? Why, are you okay? Well, no, but with this new Emblem event going on, so many players are seeking validation that they indeed are good at children's card games. Mewtwo, Pikachu, and Celebi decks as far as the eye can see. Many people are playing to win. And here I stroll up with this monstrosity, flipping coins like a mad lad. My opponents are going to be totally confused on what I'm doing or how I even win. But that's the point. It was never about the wins. It's about sending a message. Well, that's the plan anyway. Let's go! I think there is no better way of describing how this deck performed than by showing off the first game. We start with arguably the strongest first card in the deck, the good old Mommy Kangaroo. So many people were complaining that this thing was kicking their Pokemon up and down the arena during the Venusaur EX event. 60 damage on turn 2 can easily win the game. I mean, that pretty much makes it one of the most broken cards in the game. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, technically there should be just as many double tails as there are double heads. Hopefully soon. Another funny thing about this deck is that getting something amazing like 3 heads off of Misty, it basically just lets us play ball, get a seat at the table, you know what I mean? Like, we got a ton of energy and the most we deal right now is 60 damage. Oh, hey, we got double heads. It's dead now. No matter what we do, better cards will always destroy us. Try to put him to sleep, he flips heads. Dead. Try to use Cramorant to stall, flips tails. Dead. And that's game. Real nail biter. I feel like both teams really gave it their all. The only card that I feel really pulls its weight is Kingler. This is one of the cards that actually does something if you flip tails. Unlike somebody. 80 damage guaranteed with another 80 if you flip 2 heads in a row? That is solid damage with the potential to nuke a Mewtwo and send it to Pokemon Heaven. The only downside is it pretty much needs Misty to give it energy, because 3 is really hard to get before dying. It also doesn't help that there are significantly better coin flip cards out there. How's everybody liking the new Celebi, am I right? No? 100 potential damage on turn 4 not fun? Yeah, you don't know what's good for you. I was considering cards like Wigglytuff and maybe even an Executor Celebi combo, but I felt like Water just had way more options, and also Misty allows me to actually play a trainer card in this deck. I didn't want a situation where Misty just sits in my hand and somehow becomes even more useless, but then again, it makes me play cards like Frostmoth and Cramorant. I know budget-conscious people love Frostmoth. It really seemed to pop up a lot in decks in the first week, but I'm sorry, it did almost nothing in any of my games. It went out, did 40 damage, didn't get the sleep, and died. That's it. Cramorant, on the other hand, requires way too much energy and pretty much does the same thing as Frostmoth. It never flips heads when I need it to. I barely played it in any of my games because if I'm going to be putting a lot of energy on something, it's gonna be Kingler. Okay, I think I'm finally ready to talk about the stupid fish. Seeking promises so much. How would you like to attack for 80 damage, Get an instant win on turn 3, no Misty needed? Well, too bad, this thing ain't ever flipping heads when you need it to. This thing needs to be thrown in the garbage and lit on fire. I have seen this thing miss, and miss, and miss, and miss. I had so many games where I swap into a Seeking and need to get heads to win. Never happens, only tears. There are even times where I just need to hit 1 single heads. Just 1 hit, 1 little hit, within the next 3 turns. And it can't even do that. You're dead to me, Seeking. You're dead to me. And that brings me to my next point. Emotions. This deck will put you on so many mood swings. You'll try a cool, optimal play, raising your odds of winning just to get 5 tails in a row and throw your cell phone into the sidewalk. Or everything will fall into place and you'll be screaming to the heavens how you completely outwitted your opponent and how you didn't need fancy EX cards or synergy to win the game. I don't think I want to see a coin again for a long time. The mental roller coaster of so many close calls and bad beats makes it hard to stay sane. But then I get drawn in again when all the pieces seem to fall into place and I beat a meta deck. I mean, this is definitely the deck for me, gambler and all. I could definitely see myself building a non-challenge version to play in my spare time. Actually throw in some good trainer cards for once. So, for those of you who want the numbers, I played a total of 25 matches and flipped a whopping 235 coins. Way more than any player should have to do. And our record, ladies and gentlemen, was 7-18. Wow, that's not great. Well, it's obviously because I flipped so many tails. You know, that is not as bad as I felt. Except for Seeking. My hatred of him is justified. Look at that thing. Disgusting. Frostmoth was another culprit of more bad flips than good. I think it's just the nature of the card. Every tails will eventually give a heads, so it'll either be equal or leaning more towards bad. If we get rid of all the Frostmoth flips from the data, the story actually looks very 50-50. In summary, and when it comes to the wins we actually did get, 2 of them were from opponents who conceded way too early, 1 was from an early seeking flip for once, 3 were from pure skill, and 1 was because apparently Frostmoth is weak to steel and not lightning. Oh no! But if the flips were 50-50, why were the games not? Well, it's obvious. My coin flips might have been 50-50, but my opportunities were not. I had games I couldn't win no matter how well I flipped. There were times I would win no matter how bad I flipped. There were times when I could have won but didn't due to a bad flip. I had to get lucky just to have a chance of winning against some of the meta decks out there. But like I said, it's not really about the wins. How did the deck make me feel? Did I have fun? Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this deck. I also had a lot of brain aneurysms. I had so many desk slamming moments that made me want to punt my phone over a tree. And then when I actually did get lucky with a coin flip or an amazing play paid off, I was on cloud 9, feeling so full of myself that I earned that win, thinking that I beat some incredible odds. When in all honesty, it was complete luck. That is literally the point of this deck. So, if you feel like deck building is getting a bit stale, try making your own coin flip deck. Throw your win percentage to the wind and have a ball. It's not like your win rate matters in this game. And if you want to hear me blab more about this game as a whole, click the video on the right. And here's some links so I don't get sued. Later, nerds.